Hey guys, Blake here from modelcars.ca on Instagram. Welcome to my new weekly YouTube series, where I'll be talking today about something I'm working on right now. This build has tested my skills and certainly tested my patience, but it has allowed me to try a lot of new techniques and some great new products. Hands down, my favorite part about this Jeep is this custom color from Splash Paints. Now, there's a color by Chrysler called Granite Crystal Metallic that I sort of fell in love with when I looked at it online, and I knew I had to have it for this build. And luckily, Splash Paints made it for me perfectly and was kind enough to send it to me in time for this build. So thank you so much for that. It really made this Jeep come alive. The red upholstery that you'll see is also a color from Splash Paints, and this is super realistic. It does actually look like a leather seat, and that's exactly what I was going for. Now, these doors were actually the first part of the Jeep that I painted and the first part that I sprayed with clear coat. So it was a little bit of a test run for me. I was learning at the time. I was learning how to polish and wet sand. So I'm actually really happy with the way these came out because it certainly could have been a lot worse. Here's the tailgate. This is the most recent thing that I've finished. It's been a slow process, but mostly that's just because there are so many parts in this kit. I still have to somehow find out how to mask this wheel to paint the aluminum trim around the edges and to have it look clean and realistic. So as you can see from all of the details and grooves and tight corners, this is going to be difficult, and I've been somewhat procrastinating. But eventually I'll finish it, mount the tires, and attach them to the vehicle. And then we'll have something that really resembles a Jeep. Right now it looks like a pile of parts. Next, I'll be working on the rear corners of the Jeep. I'm in the process of masking and painting these tiny taillight lenses. So the surrounding area will be semi-gloss black, and of course the light portion of it will be clear red. So that's going to be tough. Again, I've been kind of procrastinating, but I think I'll tackle that later today once I'm done this video. This was kind of tough. A circular marker light or indicator light with orange over top of silver. Now, the chassis, as you've seen quite a few times now, has been done for a while, collecting dust, I might add, just waiting to be attached to the rest of the vehicle. I can't wait to get the tires and the wheels on this, have a rolling chassis, and see what that looks like. The wheels are able to turn left and right as well as spin on the axles. So that's something new for me. I usually just glue them on so none of the parts move. Now here's the dashboard. You can see I used a little bit of body color, that custom mix from Splash Paints, to give the dash some exciting accents because all black was a little bit boring and aluminum stood out a little too much. Here's an alternate front bumper. Not the stock bumper, which I'm probably going to go with, but I painted it anyway because it looks pretty cool. Now, this is a very underrated part, but it's actually one of my favorite parts of the build. This little Rubicon logo that fits into the front bumper, and I've painted it body color and I've clear coated it. I haven't polished it yet, but it looks really good. I really like that. It's a nice touch. Now, of course, I had to get some 3D printed parts in there just for fun. So we have two Pelican cargo cases for the roof. I think I'm actually going to leave them like this. I think I'll have one of each color. At first, I was just making a tough decision, but I think I'll go with one of each. Looks pretty cool mounted up there. I can't wait to get the actual metal part of the rack painted. Now, this is the hard top, of course. Semi-gloss black is the color I've painted it. I was thinking about color matching it to the body, but I wasn't completely confident in my wet sanding skills. Now, I do have a few parts to finish up on this build, like the windshield and the front grille, and then I can finally call this one complete. I wanted to take a moment and talk about a couple of things that I can't live without when it comes to building scale model cars. This is my Grex TG3 airbrush that I recently purchased from Sunward Hobbies in Toronto. Now, this has really forced me to learn a couple of new skills and step up the quality of my builds. Now, I have an extra needle just in case anything happens when I'm cleaning it, just in case the other one gets bent. I don't want to be slowed down by having to order a new part. So this airbrush comes with 3 different size cups. Now, I've gone ahead and mounted the largest one right away because I figured you can never have too much paint, especially if you're painting a body or you're spraying primer on every part of the entire kit. I can always put less in a big cup, but I can't put more in a cup that's too small. Here's the biggest one, just for reference. It holds a lot of paint. Now, I bought this airbrush actually because of the very comfortable pistol-style grip. You can use your middle finger as your trigger finger, which I prefer, or you can use your index finger to work the trigger. This is a little bit less comfortable for me personally, but I guess everybody's hand is a different size. So it's nice to have the option. I like to hug the cup with my top finger and use my middle finger to control the depth of the trigger. This has been working pretty well for me so far. Here is the tool to unscrew the nozzle. Here's a different fan cap to get closer to the item you're spraying paint on, I believe. I like the little carrying case too, because I can put it away when I'm done cleaning it. So here are a few things that I always use to clean the airbrush. We have some X20A thinner, sprue cutters, some thin-tipped cotton buds, some regular cotton buds, or Q-tips if you will, a pipe cleaner, and a small cup that I usually use for paint mixing, but in this case, it'll hold the paint thinner. I also will use an eyedropper sometimes if I'm worried about creating mess, to transfer the thinner into the cup. So in this case, because measurements aren't important, I'm just going to pour it in. And I have this nice mat to catch any overflow or spills, just in case. Now, one of the greatest parts of this airbrush is how easy it is to disassemble. Now, that part that you just saw is actually magnetic, so it comes off without any tools. Very easy to unscrew this piece. Although it doesn't usually get dirty, I find. It doesn't catch a whole lot of paint. But I'll clean it just to be safe. The needle comes out very easily. I've gotten into the habit of unscrewing the nozzle first with the tool and then pressing the needle through the front of the body rather than dragging it out through the back. I can't remember who it was, but somebody gave me this tip in an Instagram comment and I've been doing it ever since, and it just makes more sense. Why drag more paint through the inside of the brush when you can simply pull it out of the front of the body? What a great idea. I was just spraying some semi-gloss black paint to hopefully give us a very clear idea of where the dirt is and where we need to clean. If you're interested in seeing the full airbrush cleaning video, where I go through all of the steps, I will post a separate video for that. But for today's series, we'll move on to something more exciting. Here's a little preview of what I'll be building next. It's always nice to look forward to the next kit. That's what gives me the motivation to finish the one I'm currently building, so I get the excitement of starting something new again. So here's a McLaren Senna kit. This one was sent to me by Splash Paints, along with all of the wonderful exterior and interior colors I'm going to use to paint this kit. So I'm really excited to test my skills on this one, because it's a little bit more advanced than some of the older kits that I've been building from this manufacturer. So here's semi-gloss black, of course. We have some upholstery red, which hopefully I can do some two-tone paint schemes on the interior with this. I haven't decided yet, but I've seen some really cool reference photos. We got 2K gloss black, which some of the body panels require, if I'm not mistaken. So I have this ready to go. We have the wonderful exterior color, cerulean blue. I'm really excited to see what this looks like out of the bottle and on top of some white primer. I'm really going to take my time with this one and make sure I get it as close to perfect as possible. And here we have that 2K gloss clear. Now this has really changed the way that I think about building models. Now I can pick paint colors that I normally wouldn't be adventurous enough to pick, because I know they're going to come out looking amazing and smooth and glossy with this product. So those are the basics. Those aren't all the colors, but those are the majority of the paints I'll use. Now, I've been thinking about building this one for a while. I have had it in my stash for months now. I got it on eBay. It's the 911 Carrera Speedster. When I saw the front of this kit, I just thought, that is probably the most unique Porsche I'm going to see, and I had to have the kit immediately. I wasn't going to take a chance of missing out on this one. It's a very small car. I think it might even be smaller than the Jeep Wrangler that we can see in the background. So this will fit nicely in one of my smaller AMT Collector Showcase display cases. I won't have to get out one of the bigger 1/18 scale cases for this build, which is exciting, because it'll look nice with the rest of my collection. Really excited about this one, but I have to put it out of my mind so I can concentrate on what's ahead. During my constant pursuit of perfection, always trying to get a little bit better and better every time I build a car, I wanted to take a moment to look back at something I built a couple of months ago and see if I've made any progress, see if my skills have improved at all. The first thing I notice about this 68 Dodge Charger kit is the clear coat could be better. It's not great, if I'm honest. It's one of those builds that looks really good in the display case, and it looks good from a couple of feet away. But if you really want to get critical, I know there is a little bit of orange peel. I know I could have done a better job wet sanding this before starting the polishing process. But it was one of the first cars I ever built. So I'm trying to let myself off the hook a little bit, but I just wanted to make a note of that so I can concentrate on getting better and better at clear coat in the future. Other than that though, it holds up okay. I'm still happy having this one on my shelf. I'm not embarrassed of it, but I know I could do a lot better if I were to build another one today. I actually hand painted that engine with a cheap paintbrush I got at a dollar store. I used some Testor's dark blue. And it doesn't look too bad, but if you get up close, it's not as smooth as it would have been if I had used spray paint or an airbrush, of course. But all in all, it's not too bad. I used a little bit of Tester's paint, the color called Wood, on that steering wheel, and some racing white for that shift knob. I think those details really made the interior come alive, so I really like this build, but obviously it's not comparable to the things that I'm building now. I guess that's why they call it the creator's curse. As I improve and learn new skills, I'm perpetually dissatisfied with things that I've built in the past. And I'm sure every model builder can relate to this feeling. I guess it's just human nature. I wanted to share with you guys a couple of the things that inspired me this week and maybe want to get better at this great hobby. So here's builder number 1. I've posted a link to this profile in my description because you gotta check it out. Wow, the carbon master himself. The master of detail. Look at these McLaren Senna seats. You would swear they're out of a real car. It really is hard to believe that we're looking at a scale model here. I didn't realize this level of skill was humanly possible, but here we are. Sometimes this kind of stuff inspires me, and sometimes it makes me want to give up and throw my models into the garbage can. But today I'll choose to be inspired because that's the point of this weekly series. I hope when I build this kit, mine turns out even half as good as this one. So builder number 2, the man himself, Russo model. Check him out in the link in my description if you haven't seen his work before. Again, you would swear this is a real car if it wasn't next to the real thing. His work is so highly detailed. His clear coat is so well polished, you would swear you're looking at a real car. This has to be one of the coolest builds I've ever seen. Looks like he's using splash paints here too, so I hope I can get even close to how good this is when I use cerulean blue on my next build. This is an incredible blue as well. I really like it. If his hand wasn't in this video, I would think that was a real rim from a real vehicle. Now, one of the nicest guys in the industry, hands down, Kiwi Cam's Hobbies. You gotta check him out if you haven't already. Just incredible work. And he doesn't just build cars, which is really interesting. It makes me want to branch out and learn new skills. This R34 GTR in the junkyard diorama just inspired me to immediately go out and buy another one of these kits because it's just so cool and so realistic. I had to take another attempt and see if I could get even close to this level of detail. This is just amazing. Again, looks like a real car. Hard to believe that it's made of plastic. Now, Scott's Scaled Builds is one of the accounts I've been looking at a lot lately, actually, for inspiration, especially because he is a fellow user of splash paints, and he does it so well, and with such a great attention to detail. It's a great reference for me to look at and try to achieve this amount of quality in my own work. Again, all I can say is that looks like a real car. If I hadn't been so closely watching this build, there's no way I would believe that that level of detail was even possible. Look at this GTR, look at the panel lines. It looks like I could reach in and just open that door because the lines are so crisp and so well done. I can't get enough of this pink and white interior. Very clean, very, very cool. Well done, Scott. And last but certainly not least, one of my favorite accounts I've been looking at lately, actually the one that inspired me to recently purchase 2 Porsche models. His details are just so crisp. His clear coat looks so nice. And look at this, you gotta check this out. There's not a whole lot I can say here besides, wow. What a great level of detail in every one of these photos. I think this is the photo that inspired me to go out and buy my own Porsche model kit. And hopefully get even half as good of a result as this. So thank you for inspiring me. I've posted a link in my description to all 5 of these builders' profiles, and I encourage you to check them out because they are worthwhile.